Hi everyone. Today we're going to learn in this video is how to simplify the surd. Okay, the surd expression, or by rationalizing the denominator. All right. So this is the example. If you have a 1 over surd 5, just we know that the surd 5 is not a rational number. Now we want to rationalize the denominator, or in other words, we are going to simplify this 1 over surd 5. Before we start, we need to know what is the conjugate of the surd number. So why this is also important, because you need the conjugate of the surd number so that when they are multiply each other, they will produce a non-surd number. For example, surd 5, if we are taking the conjugate of surd 5, that is a surd 5. We're taking the surd 5 multiplied by surd 5, we got 5. Okay, so we can say that the surd 5 is the conjugate of the surd 5. Another example is if you have a surd A plus surd B, what is the conjugate? What is the conjugate of this surd A plus surd B? We just change one of the sign. We can either change the sign of the positive surd A into negative, or we change the sign of the positive surd B to negative surd B. Alright, so I'm going to change the sign in the middle. So the conjugate of the surd A plus surd B will be surd A minus surd B. So let's see what's so important and what happens if we are taking the surd A plus surd B multiplied by its conjugate. If we multiply the one of the surd expression by its conjugate, we will get A. Surd A will get A. And multiply surd A multiplied by negative surd B, you get negative surd A, surd B. Surd B multiplied by surd A, again you get positive surd A multiplied by surd B. And surd of B multiplied by negative surd of B, you get negative B. So you can see that the term in the middle, which containing the surd term, is already disappeared. Once you are taking an expression involving the surd multiplied by its conjugate, automatically the term which containing the surd will be disappeared after you expand it. So end up you got only A minus B. And I'm going to use this concept to rationalize the denominator for the question A until J. Let's look at the first one. So here I got 1 over surd 5, and now the surd 5 is not a rational number, or we can say that 1 over surd 5 is not in the simplest form yet. So how do we make it simplest form? In other words, we are going to convert this non-rational number into a rational number. How can we do that? We just taking the surd number multiplied by surd 5 over surd 5. And how do I know this should be surd 5? Because I'm trying to find the conjugate of the surd 5. So the conjugate of the surd 5 is surd 5. We need to multiply the denominator by the surd 5. And because we're not going to change the value of the original one, we're going to multiply the numerator by the surd 5 also, so that this actually become 1. Because surd 5 over surd 5 equals to 1. And end up, we are not changing any value of the question. Alright, so after you have writing this down, we are considering the numerator 1 multiplied by surd 5, you got surd 5. And down here, surd 5 multiplied by surd of 5, you got 5. And you will check again whether anything can be simplified. If this is a simplest form, we shall accept this as our final answer, and we say that this form is simpler than the original one. For the example B, again we can see that the denominator is a surd 15, this is not a rational number. So now to rationalize the denominator, I need to find the conjugate of the surd 5, which is surd of 15. So this is the conjugate of surd of 15 is surd of 15. And again, up here we need to multiply by surd of 15 so that we don't change the value of the original question, because surd of 15 divided by surd of 15 is equals to 1. Alright, taking anything multiplied by 1, you will get back the own self. Alright, now you consider the multiplication 10 by the surd 15. That you will have a 10 multiplied by surd 15. Over surd 15 multiplied by surd 15, you shall get 15. And this can further simplify because 10 and 15, there are common factor between them. So you are you're cancelling off. You get 2 up here, and this is 3 because 2, 5 is 10, 3, 5 is 15. So write down the final answer as a 2 surd of 15 over 3. For the example C, alright, the question given you the instruction rationalize the denominator. So you shall find ways to make this disappear by multiply the denominator by its conjugate. So the conjugate of the surd 3 is surd 3. And on top, at the numerator, we need to multiply by surd 3 as well. Again, why we do that? Because this is equivalent to 1. After we have decided this, so we just expand the numerator. We got 3. Surd 5 multiplied by surd 3, you can write it as a surd of 15 over 2. Surd 3 multiplied by surd 3, you got 3. And after that, we can see that the 3 on top actually can be cancelled off with the 3 below here. And finally, you have a surd of 15 over 2. Alright, so this is the one that, again, the denominator is not a rational number. We need to multiply it by the surd 2 over surd 2, where the surd 2 is the conjugate of the surd 2. Okay, surd of 40, obviously we can simplify it by writing it as 10 multiplied by 4. And this is multiplied by surd of 2 over here. And denominator, we got the surd 2 multiplied by surd 2. Of course, we will get 2. Now we have already rationalized denominator. So now we just need to simplify. The surd 10 multiplied by surd 4, we can split into the surd 10 multiplied by surd 4 multiplied by surd 2. Down here we have 2. So what is the answer? What is the answer for the surd 4? After you simplify, you get 2, right? So 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by surd 10 multiplied by surd 2 divided by 2. Obviously, now you can see that the 2 can be cancelled off. Finally, you will have a 3 surd of 20. And the surd of 20 can be written as 5 multiplied by 4. So again, you will see the square surd of 4. So 3 multiplied by surd of 4, that will be 2. Okay, so you have a surd number which is a surd 5. Then multiply 3 by 2, you have a 6 surd 5. And this is the simplest form. For the question E is slightly different from the previous question that we have discussed, because the rational number down here is not only a one term, it involves 2 terms. Alright, so you need to find the conjugate of the surd 3 minus 1. Conjugate of the surd 3 minus 1, as I mentioned earlier, conjugate of the surd 3 minus 1, you can actually change one of the sign, either the positive sign change to negative, or the sign negative 1 change to positive 1. Either one, is not both, right? Either one. So I decided to change the sign in the middle here. So the conjugate will be surd 3 plus 1. Don't forget the numerator also need to multiply by surd 3 plus 1 so that this become 1. And anything multiplied by 1, we actually not changing the value of the original question. Alright, so now we can see we want to expand it. Expand the, okay, I will try to expand the numerator first. I got my 2 surd 3 plus 2. Taking the 2 multiplied by surd 3 plus 2 multiplied by 1, alright, over surd 3 multiplied by surd 3, alright, you expand like this. Surd 3 multiplied by surd 3, you got 3. Surd 3 multiplied by 1, you got a positive surd 3. Negative 1 multiplied by surd 3, you got negative surd 3. And negative 1 multiplied by 1, you got negative 1. So what can you see here? Denominator, nothing much to explain. You just, you do want to factor out the 2, no problem. Just write that. And down here you can see that the two terms in the middle has been cancelled off each other because one is positive, the other one is negative. So you can see that once a conjugate expression multiplied by its conjugate, the term which containing the surd will be disappeared. Okay, this is our objective because we want to rationalize the denominator. So now you just left the 3 minus 1, it is equal to 2 at the denominator, and after that cancel off the 2. Final answer shall be simplified into surd 3 plus 1 only. Right. For the following, for this example, 2 over 2 plus surd 2, again, we can see that denominator is not a rational number. So I'm going to rationalize the denominator by finding the conjugate of the denominator. So the conjugate of the denominator shall change the sign in the middle, 2 minus surd 2. So once later on, when you expand, you can see that the surd term will be disappeared once you multiply by the conjugate. Don't forget, on top you also need to multiply by 2 minus surd 2 so that this becomes 1. Alright, so for the numerator, I will just write down 2 multiplied by 2 surd 2. Alright, down here at the denominator, I will try to expand 2 multiplied by 2, that will be 4. 2 multiplied by negative surd 2 will be negative 2 surd 2. And a positive surd 2 multiplied by 2, you shall get the 2 surd 2, positive 2 surd 2. And surd 2 multiplied by negative surd 2, you get negative 2. Alright, then you can see that these two terms, one is negative, the other one is positive, so they shall cancel each other. And up you have a 2 minus surd 2 on top. And down here you got 2. 4 minus 2 you have 2, and this you obtain 0. Then you further simplify, you can see that the 2 can be cancelled off. Finally, you have your answer as a 2 minus surd 2. This question is similar to the previous one. Multiply by the conjugate. Conjugate, I just changed the sign in the middle here. I got surd 3 minus surd 2. On top, multiply by the same thing. After that, numerator, I can simplify in this form. Divided by surd 3, expand it. Okay, we try to expand. Surd 3 multiplied by surd 3, you got 3. And surd 3 multiplied by negative surd 2, you got negative surd 6. And surd 2 multiplied by surd 3, you got positive surd 6. These two terms cancel off each other. It won't appear in the denominator anymore. So next, the term is surd 2 multiplied by negative surd 2, you got negative 2. As you do a few more questions, you will see that when it is multiplied by the conjugate, the terms in the middle will cancel off each other, meaning that denominator don't have any surd number. Alright, then we can simplify this as 1, this as a 5 surd 3 minus surd 2. Finally, we get a 5 surd 3 minus surd 2. For this question, finding the conjugate of this surd number. Alright, I got my 2 surd 5. Changing the sign, I got positive surd 3. Then on top, just copy back what you have multiplied at the denominator. So just write down so that it's become 1. After that, I would, okay, for this case, I would try to expand the numerator. Surd 3 multiplied by 2 surd 5, I got 2 surd 15. Surd 3 multiplied by surd 3, I got a 3. Over 2 surd 5 multiplied by 2 surd 5, I got 4. Surd 5 multiplied by surd 5, I got 5. 2 multiplied by 2, you got 4. Surd 5, you got 5. And the term in the middle where you're taking the 2 multiplied by, 2 surd 5 multiplied by surd 3 minus the surd 3 multiplied by 2 surd 5, these two terms cancel off each other. And the last term is the negative surd 3 multiplied by positive surd 3, you got negative 3. Okay, so now simplify. On top is a 3 plus 2 surd 15. Alright, below here, denominator, you got a 20 minus 3, you got 17. Okay, this is an interesting example because we got two terms of the ratio which involve the surd number. Okay, but we can see that the denominator, if you want to simplify these two terms, we actually want to equating denominator. Once we equate the denominator, you can see that 1 minus surd 2 is going to be multiplied by 1 plus surd 2. So the denominator of these two terms, they are conjugate to each other. Once you are equating denominator, automatically you are actually rationalizing the denominator. So if you multiply 1 minus surd 2 by the 1 plus surd 2 for the denominator, this means that on top here, you are taking the 1 minus surd 2 multiplied by this. On top, you need to multiply by the same thing, that is 1 plus surd 2. And for the second term, 1 plus surd 2, you need to multiply by 1 minus surd 2 to become this. So means that the numerator also must be multiplied by 1 minus surd 2 as well. Okay, then you will have 1 plus surd 2 multiplied by 1 plus surd 2. This is from the first term. Plus, second term is 1 minus surd 2 multiplied by 1 minus surd 2. Okay, then we now expand the numerator. 1 multiplied by 1, 1. Plus surd 2, you got 2 surd 2. Surd 2 multiplied by surd 2, you got 2. Positive 2. Alright? Plus 1 multiplied by 1, you got 1. 1 multiplied by negative surd 2, negative surd 2. Negative surd 2 multiplied by 1, another negative surd 2. So negative surd 2 minus minus surd 2, you got 2. Negative 2 surd 2. Negative surd 2 multiplied by negative surd 2, you got positive positive 2. Because surd 2 multiplied by surd 2, you got 2. Over. Here you have 1 multiplied by 1 plus surd 2 minus surd 2 is 0. Then negative surd 2 multiplied by positive surd 2, you got negative 2. So we try to simplify on the numerator first. 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 3. 3 plus 1, 4. 4 plus 2, 6. And 2 surd 2 minus 2 surd 2, you got 0. Down here we got negative 1. Finally, we got negative 6. Alright, this question has been upgraded into 3 terms. And this is also the last question in this video. So how are we going to rationalize the denominator? First, okay, I will try to equating denominator for these two terms first. One for second term and the third term. I will just remain 1 as 1 first. And now I'm going to equate the denominator because I see that the denominator of these two terms, they are conjugate to each other. Once I equate denominator, automatically you will see that the denominator will be rationalized, meaning that there is no more surd number inside the denominator. Alright, so I'm equating denominator by multiplying the second term by 1 plus surd 5. Down here multiply by 1 plus surd 5. Up here also multiply by 1 plus surd 5. Okay, after that, for the third term, I want to make it into 1 minus surd 5, 1 plus surd 5. I need to multiply it by the 1 minus surd 5 on top, meaning that you need to multiply by the same thing. So now we try to write down 1 multiplied by 1 plus surd 5, you got 1 plus surd 5. Plus 1 multiplied by 1 minus surd 5, you got 1 minus surd 5. So now simplify the numerator. You got 1 plus 1, 2. And surd 5 minus surd 5 is 0. Down here you got a 1 multiplied by 1, 1. 1 plus surd 5, that 1 multiplied by surd 5, you got surd 5. Minus surd 5, again, the term in the middle cancel off each other. So there is no more surd term. Now, negative surd 5 multiplied by surd 5, you get negative 5. So finally, you will have 2 over negative 4, where this is 1 over 2. Positive multiplied by negative, negative. 2 over 4 is 1 over 2. And up you got a 1 over 2. This is how we simplify. Alright? Thank you for watching.